do.
You can always go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside
We're
the
back.
Booth. I'm your host.
I'm singing my own intro.
intro.
I'm over here looking at this and I'm like, downtown. Oh. Hi, everybody.
We
can
have
go
some guests
downtown.
tonight. We got Josh and the famous Dreaming Tabitha.
That's right. Come on. Bring your popcorn because we're going to be talking about things.
We are
In the lounge tonight, apparently.
I'll just say,
That's right,
man.
That's right. Man, this is good music. I'm going to start using this one more often.
It's great intro music. I like it. It's like being in an elevator.
It is. I love elevator music.
Man, he just cuts us off.
Wow. Just get right to it. Forget introductions. Just get right to it.
Covered us up.
All right, so everybody, you know who these wonderful people are.
We've been here every once in a while.
You know what they taught us in church? They taught us that you always act like there's new people in the audience.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I was going to say.
If you're new here and inside the booth, this is Josh, the maker.
The maker. He makes stuff, obviously, in his den.
I do, in my den.
I'm Dreaming Tabitha, which tells you absolutely nothing about my profession on YouTube whatsoever, but that's
sort of. To be fair, you dream about the things that you artistically create.
That's true. I do. But anyway, I thought this was a faith-based channel, Dan. That's what I'm saying. You got to believe that there's going to be new people in the crowd every time.
Sure enough, man.
I do.
Especially with all the promotions you're trying to be doing and everything.
Yeah, you be doing, bro.
I've been hanging out with too many guys at work.
Well, better than hanging out with too many women at work.
Well, no, what I mean by that is they're all younger than me. I've learned so many new words. I was like, oh gosh, I'm
words.
I'm old. It's like I asked one of the guys, it's like, what about I actually did use a description. I said, isn't this thing supposed to be like, as you guys say, on fleek? It's like, no, we don't say that anymore.
Fleek
like, really?
It's like, really? So like 7 to 10 years
He's
ago.
he's like, no, man, now it's fire. I'm like, oh gosh. Now we're going to basic words.
It's not even lit anymore, Joshua.
No, it's not. It's just straight up. It's like it's straight fire. I'm like,
I learned
the fudge. I mean,
the word is feta. This means that it's falling apart. It's not good. It'd be like, dude, remember when we took that test and I was doing really well until I got to question 20 and then it was all feta. Like feta cheese.
No, that one I hadn't heard yet.
Look,
I have heard that and then I heard a guy my age use that.
Well, no, see, because they're trending words. Basically, they're not real slang that somebody decided to turn into slang. Anyway,
I know.
Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
good. You know, I'm risen over here. You know,
still.
Is that like Christian slang? Are we finally getting Christian slang? I'm risen. I'm doing good. It's the third day.
That's risen and not rising.
Oh, what's risen?
Rising. Rising, from my understanding, from what the young bucks that I work with say, is that you got game.
Good looking.
I love
you got game.
Slang to describe slang.
Yeah, you got game is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he's going to keep us up to date with everything.
Yeah,
I guess my 12-year-old son tries to keep me up to date, and
perfect
it doesn't work.
My 4-year-old is not keeping me up to date.
No, your 4-year-old doesn't know yet.
Perfect.
Anyways, did you guys see my cool thumbnail?
Oh, look at that.
Wait, with that transgender looking woman.
Hey, I got that haircut.
Look, she is too attractive to be said like that.
I don't know about that.
Right, so
no, she looks too much like a actual woman.
See, really, to me, she looked more very dudeish in the face.
Well, in the face, yeah, but you know.
Nah, I think
Anyways.
she looks very much like a brutish female.
I do want to apologize, everybody.
I forgive you.
I only caught the misspelling after I posted, so
What
I have
misspelling?
to change it later.
Snooze.
Snooze.
It's the snows. Part snows.
Okay, no. Okay, what we learned in kindergarten is that is actually correct.
Yeah.
It's just not the rule, right? The rules were if
It's
there were
correct, but it's inaccurate.
if
Yeah.
there were two vowels, that means that the one makes it the long sound. So actually, it should be snows.
I was gonna say snows.
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. Snows.
Snows, part snows. You know, ooh, snoo, snow.
Conroy's here. He says Risen is the new one,
Hi.
and we got Scratch Givers. Yes.
Ew, what is that? That
Scratch
sounds like
givers.
some kind of Blade Runner prostitute.
Well, you know, it's kind of like a scar giver, but they scratch you instead.
It doesn't go deep enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scratch giver.
Stop it. Wipe that face off.
I mean, I mean, you know.
Not you,
So
Dana.
Yeah, she's definitely indicating to me.
So I'll tell everybody why I decided to put Rebel Noon, part snooze, scratch giver.
I didn't even
it's
rub
because-
Rebel Noon.
Noon, yeah, instead of moon, I put noon, you know, because that was about the time I was watching the movie, and yes, I took a snooze a couple times and had to rewind.
Oh, so this is all
It's
about
not
you.
hard.
Yeah, pretty much. It's because
I
of
mean,
me.
this is his channel, so
I
No,
feel
it
like
was-
this is not going to be an unbiased account. Like,
no, not
I
at all.
sense bias.
No.
I sense
It'll
it.
be fine. It'll be
No,
fine.
it won't be.
All right, I guess we can get into it. Let's talk about the
Sure
plot
enough.
real quick. You know,
Woo!
Covering me up all over.
does Josh want to go first?
Yes,
If you
Joshua
want,
does.
if you would, if you
he's been
prefer
wanting
me to.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, it's the plot.
Oh wait,
it's,
can I take points? Let me get my red pen.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Sure, you can write them down. Oh, man,
Points.
this
Oh,
is like-
points.
In
Th-
blood. All right.
It's like
It's like the olden days.
Oh,
That's right. when Tabitha was the host,
I was co-host.
co-host.
Yeah, she was co-hosting.
So-
Except for on the
host,
days that I
host,
was the host.
That's
Right.
Girls' night. Ooh. Okay. Anyway, all right. The plot, gentlemen.
The plot. Where to begin? There was a lot of farming involved.
Mhm.
A lot of farming. A lot of farming.
I
Like
loved-
the movie is about 2 hours long. It's actually shorter than the first one, but it felt long. It felt longer,
I never
and not
knew
for
you could make
and not for
farming-
good reasons.
I
Not
never
for
knew
good
you could-
reasons
I
did it
never
feel
knew
longer.
you could make farming an action movie itself.
Man, they definitely accomplished
You
it.
never saw
They-
Roots?
no, I never saw Roots. I have no interest in seeing Roots.
I've never seen it either. I assume there's farming in it. Anyway.
I'm sure there is farming. But anyway, no. So plot. It really they go over everything that took place in the first movie again. As far as like they talk about everything. It's like, okay, in case you didn't see the first movie, which most people didn't, they happen to talk about it again, and then by the time we get past all the farming, we come to the halfway point. And this is then where the character development starts. Like you're 4 hours invested into this trilogy that they're making it, and now we're getting into character development. It's
Yeah.
like that. It's like why did you go ahead and beat around the bush on this? It's like, so the one guy, General Titus was his name. He's like, I feel that we need to go ahead and have a powwow and share our feelings as to why we are doing this.
He looks very sad.
That's a younger General Titus too, by the
That's
way.
Wesley Snipes.
And so all the characters start to go through their backstory, which is the exact same thing. Like, something tragic happened to me,
This could have
And
been
now-
an email.
and now I'm here. Yes, pretty much. It could have been an email. It really could have. Because it's like, so General Titus, he's like, I watched my army die in front of me, and then I went into seclusion. Now I'm here.
Yep.
And then so it's like, then we have, knockoff Conan, who was in like Victorian London, that was also steampunk and science fiction-y weird or whatever like that. He's like, I watched my mom jump off a building. That is sad. Did you try to stop her? No. He's like, did you try to stop her? No, I couldn't. Oh, really? They were holding you back? No, I just watched her jump off a building.
He didn't even say like, Mom, wait.
Exactly right. He just stood there in his bowler hat.
Oh, wait.
Watching her jump off the building in slow motion, of course.
That was a tweet.
Just watching. It's like any son would be like, even in slow motion, no, that kind of thing or whatever. But he didn't.
Oh, thanks.
Then we have.
I felt that my opinion was worth the grammatical error and $2.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. And then we had, what's her name? The Oriental woman. She's like, I lost my kids, so I decided to chop off my arms so I can go ahead and wield a not lightsaber.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is making any sense whatsoever. Besides the fact there's a plot hole in the prop by itself, in that she had to have mechanical arms in order to wield said not lightsaber. Because we still don't know what the name of it is. They actually did not revealed what the name of the not lightsaber is.
Laser sword.
So she has to have metal hands because it gets so hot. Whereas Mrs. Scargiver is able to wrap it up in cloth and wield it at the end of the movie.
Okay, all right. I just would like to point out, I was told this the other day, that women, I mean, everybody's different, but for the most part...
When adrenaline kicks in?
No, that women have the capacity, especially wives and moms, have the capacity to hold and withstand hot things.
But she's neither a mom.
No, but just women in general, but particularly it's moms. I love it.
Okay,
am I right? Let us know.
But again, if that's the case, then what's her face? The Oriental chick would not have to have cut her arms off.
Okay, but she's also Oriental. They're sensitive people. They don't like the sun. They don't like hot things.
I thought those were blacks.
No, what are you talking about?
Okay, I could be wrong.
You ever seen our Asian brethren? They're always wearing like long sleeve and these
no, those are Hispanics.
No, in safari hats whenever they're walking around because they don't want to risk being dark. They want to be pale. They can't handle the darkness. They can't handle the hot stuff.
All right, well, you learn something new every day then. But anyway, it still just didn't make any sense as far as like why did she need to cut her arms off when she could have just wrapped it up in a cloth, just like
some people can't afford Cuisinart or KitchenAid hot plates, or mittens.
I think they did say that because those arms were from the old days of not having peace, and those arms knew how to fight. So that's why she she had to cut her arms off to put the arms on and be able to wield.
Okay. Another plot hole then.
Put the arms on.
All right, that's another plot hole then. At that point, then why in the world? So how in the world would Butch Woman know how to wield it properly then? As far as like just as good, if not better, than Oriental chick.
Because she didn't chop her arm off and put on the arm.
Right.
But if all the skill comes from the mechanical arms,
right.
How would
she doesn't need to know anything? Her arms know everything.
Exactly.
Right, I know that, but so how would Butch Woman know how to go ahead and wield it? Wield it as good or better?
Two words.
The other guys using it.
YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Of course. Yeah, I was gonna say she did a YouTube search on it.
Actually, that's just one word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But either way, though, the plot is just
tutorial.
The plot is horrible, and the title for it is The Scar Giver. Why would you call it The Scar Giver? That means you just go ahead and do enough damage to let him run away.
Yeah, that's why I call it the scratch.
You don't kill him.
Okay.
You don't kill him.
The Joker would probably tell you that trauma is better than death.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, but this is not the DC universe. This is the Snyderverse.
I'm just saying that it's I would say that trauma is worse, scarier, and worse than death.
But it doesn't build upon that.
You know what I didn't understand, Josh? Here's what I did not understand.
Why you can't address me?
Well, okay, you too.
Everybody, this is the reason why.
Goodness.
This is how I feel about it.
I want to be included.
Let me just tell you, Tabitha. Let me tell you.
I'm
Josh,
not listening anymore.
There we go. Now we're all included.
Now we're all included.
People of the universe.
Here's what I didn't understand about the first 20 minutes of the movie. They came back to the same planet. They left from
Tatooine.
And everybody pretended they didn't know who they were. Oh, yeah, you're here. Here's something. Here's a gift. Yay, these guys that we've never seen before, but they were there before. They lived there. What do you mean you don't know them?
Something's changed.
Well,
yeah. Well, you know.
I mean, the other thing is that so why? I mean, again, there's so many things that just don't make sense. So, like, you got a spaceship that can do interspatial travel, but it's powered by coal.
Yeah, that was strange, wasn't it?
How does that make any sense? Like, how much power can coal generate in order for you to go ahead and jump the light speed?
What if it was space coal?
Space coal.
I get that's the only loophole you can go ahead and create. It's like, we'll go ahead and pull this out of thin air. It's space coal.
Futurama, right? Futurama.
No.
You've never seen Futurama?
No.
The cartoon? Okay.
Yeah, I know what it is.
We know what it is. We never watched it.
Oh, you've never watched it?
No, we've never watched it. Okay, yeah.
Maybe it's okay, so for those who have seen Futurama, not these two.
Yeah, I was gonna say they will get the reference, not these two.
The little black poop that the little guy poops out. They put that in the like the coal shooter thing, and it makes the energy.
Well, it's recycling. It's the wave of the future.
Yeah, it's funny. But anyways, yeah.
So Joshua, what point would you give the plot? Okay.
Easy.
Levis says Rey Skywalker.
It's an easy 0.
Rey Skywalker is my hero. You know, she's something.
This is
you mean Ray? That's Ray. That's Ray Palpatine.
Ray Palpatine. Excuse you. Love it. Excuse you, Dan. I specifically came on this show because I just want to hear what your summary of the plot is.
Ooh, this should be good.
Movie. Dan's take.
Okay.
All right.
These people.
Here it comes.
Pre-snooze. So you got to kind of see the first movie first, and then.
That's usually how it goes with sequels.
Okay. So these people, they knew. Like I said, on the planet, they don't know him anymore. And even though they fly away in the first movie, you know, kind of going after the ship, the mothership, they somehow don't go after the mothership and decide to go on the planet instead and say, "Oh, we won!"
Right?
It's destroying the ship, even though that's what they were leaving to do. This is why it doesn't make sense to me. So after that, they decided, let's make farming an action movie. So they sickle the wheat in slow motion, and then in super slow motion, and then they slash
the grain.
Yeah. Then they slash the weed in slow motion, and they toss the grain, and then they
beat the grain.
The grain, then they make the flour,
and then they have to throw the sacks of grain.
It's almost like National Geographic made this
movie. Pretty much. But National Geographic would make it more entertaining.
So at least they would have talked through the whole 20 minutes of grain.
Right. Because at least we had a decent score to go with it, but
so after that there was some spooning, and then there was some action. And then at the end of the movie, it was over.
Thank God.
Usually,
except it's not, since there's going to be part
usually
3.
the movie does end at the end.
Yep. And
Yeah.
But there was a cliffhanger at the end.
Well, of course, because there's going to be another movie.
So the best person, or the best character out of this whole movie
is Anthony Hopkins' character. Yeah. What's his name? Jimmy?
Stewart.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Isn't
I
it?
don't remember.
Oh, I don't know.
I do know that they all worship, Ra, the Egyptian
something
god.
like that. Yeah.
It looks more of like the thing from Dragon Age.
Actually, to the Inquisition. No, it looks more like the masks from Legend of Zelda.
I was just gonna say, from Legend of Zelda, the Sheik or the
Shikas. Yeah, Shikas.
Shikas. Yeah.
That's
right.
Thinking of the train engineer from Back to the Future. Oh,
So,
for the coal thing. Yeah.
What would Dan give this plot?
I give the plot because it's all over the place, and the storyline really sucks. A 0. I'll give it a
0.
Nothing.
Well,
Nothing, 0. The action parts,
0, Jimmy.
The action parts of the movie were good. That kept my interest. The action of the wheat was kind of cool to watch.
The action of the wheat.
Yeah, he made it look like an action movie. Just
no, he did make the wheat, the harvesting of the wheat. He tried to make it look very much like an action movie, just without explosions and stuff.
Yeah, like the wheat was exploding.
It's like everybody was super aggressive and sweaty, which obviously of harvesting the stuff. But he was very artistic about making it look action packed. It was just dull.
Yeah.
Okay.
And went on for way too long.
My thing about the plot was that when Cora returned to Velt with the former, with the farmer Gunter and all the warriors, that it was interesting that Titus commanded the defense of the farmers and asked them to harvest the grains and use them to protect their homes.
Yes.
And
they got blown, they got shot anyway.
And while Atticus the noble and his men, they were disclosing their pasts, waiting for the showdown with the Mother World's force. That's literally the storyline on IMDb.
Yes, that's
in a
nutshell.
Let me read it to you how they have it.
In a nutshell, that's exactly how it is.
I was just spoofing mine because it was hard to focus because I told you there's a lot going on. I didn't actually get to finish this movie, but it's like Cora returns to Velt, is that how you pronounce it? Cora returns to Velt with the farmer Gunter and the warriors Titus, Nemesis, Darian, Bloodaxe, and Turag. Titus commands the defense of the farmers and asks them to harvest the grains and use them to protect their homes. While waiting for Atticus Noble and his men, they disclose their past, waiting for showdown with the Mother's World Force. I'm like, this is a horrible IMDb plot storyline. Like the first part
matches the movie.
But it's like when I was reading this to try to get something to say, I was like, am I reading this right? He asks them to harvest grain to protect their homes with the grain.
They loaded them up in the sacks, made it look like sandbags, and their theory was, they want the grain because that's what's stated in the first movie, right? Yeah. They want the grain.
Yeah.
So they're not going to blow up the houses that have the people in it because it has the grain on it. But since they happen to have a guy that is bent to go ahead and get the Cora, he's if you will hell bent to go ahead and get Cora. He's like screw the grain. We're gonna blow it up anyway, just to go ahead and get her.
Of course, because your priorities now. My favorite.
It's like, so that was a wasted effort to go ahead and harvest all the grain just to have it shot up.
Well,
your theory didn't work.
That particular part of the storyline on IMDb is my favorite. But then it's like, while waiting for Atticus Noble and his men, they disclose their pasts.
Yeah.
And so
that's what I just said. Yeah.
So it's my turn. And so I decided to, try to get an understanding of how everything is going. I watched Jeremy Jans on YouTube. He's got He's
I
very
love his
famous,
stuff.
movie
his
reviewer. And I watched his stuff on Rebel Moon too, and it was number one. It was hilarious. And then he was like, "So number one, there's a whole bunch of slow-mo shots," and he's like, "Which is nice. They're done well." He's like, "But they're everywhere." He's like, "There's constant slow motion for the sake of slow motion." He's like, "Not only that." He's like, then I remember he was like, they're all just sitting around a table talking about their past. He's like, in the second movie, he's like, this should have been something that happened in the first movie. And he's like, they're literally just sitting around a table sharing stories.
Yeah.
Like he's like, that's what's going on. And it's when I hear that, it's very strange to me because I understand that this is like a series in and of itself. It's its own franchise, but it's a movie. If this were a TV show, that would make sense because that's very common in TV shows where you don't reveal everything about the characters. And as the show continues,
not all at once,
suddenly you're like, oh, well, this doctor over here, the reason he never treats these kinds of alien patients is because they're the breed that destroyed his family years ago. And so it builds that. That's how you create the franchise and make it last longer. This doesn't make sense in the second movie. Like they didn't do that in Lord of the Rings. You know, you didn't. You got you got most of that knowledge in the beginning,
and then little bits of it kept getting fleshed out throughout.
Little bits here and there because you want to have a story arc.
But every time there was a new character, it was like, okay, we're going to do the backstory right away. Like with Faramir. Faramir first showed up, where I was like, okay, we're going to go ahead and do his backstory.
Yeah, you pretty much
shot after shot.
As soon as you meet Faramir, if you start understanding he's got daddy issues,
right? You know, and then and then later on you learn why.
And then and you just keep moving on. So for all of that, just because of the horrible storyline, however accurate it might be on IMDb of all places, I'm going to give it a 0 because this has got to be the worst story description. And if this is literally the plot of the movie, this is terrible.
It is.
Yeah, this is just,
this isn't even one of those kind of dumb movies that you want to put on in the background to be like, oh, we're going to put it on, just, let it play in the background while I go ahead and, I don't know, fold laundry or anything like that. No, I'm not even doing that.
Well, I mean, I will talk about that more when we get to cinematography, but, anyway, whatever.
Okay, well, let's talk about acting.
You've got some of your actors in there that are going to do a good job. Like what's his name? Jimon
Hounsou or whatever it is.
Hounsou. Like he's a phenomenal actor. I don't know that he could be bad in anything, to be honest, because he's always this kind of deep warrior, intelligent person. So he just does a good job.
Love it, yeah.
The guy who plays as the farmer is just boring a bleep. So he is too old. Okay, he is too old to act like an ignorant youth, if that makes sense. So like if he would have been 16, this would totally make sense. It's like he's learning, he's growing, he's following her around because he's new to the universe, if you will. But the fact that he's like a 30, maybe 40-some-year-old man who's just kind of going with the flow because he's just a simple farmer. The main guy not the main guy, but the head farmer dude of the village in the first one didn't act like that. Like he acted like he was a simple man, but he had experience, he had knowledge to bring forth. This guy acts like he just got out of high school at the age of 42.
Well, we don't know how the moons revolve around the planet and how time is.
True,
so he could be
12.
16.
He could be weird.
Yeah.
So I mean, for acting, it's all over the place for me. Okay, so the long-haired dude too, and
Turok.
That was like in the first one, but
Turok.
That guy over there on
he was kind of weird to me too, because it's like the farmer dude should be our main guy, right? But he's acting like this ignorant youth.
And then call him Turok?
That's his name.
Like the video game? He looks
close.
Like it too. Oh, he kind of looks like it too.
Yeah, it was. It's probably ripped off. But anyway,
barbarian guy who just seems to be almost like almost.
That's what he is. He's knockoff Conan.
Well, he's almost a gentle giant because he's one with the animals, and
he's royalty is what it is.
And yeah, but okay, but then it's like but he's Conan at the same time, and it's like, I don't know. It seems like there's an identity crisis.
Yeah, it didn't fit because of the fact that he comes from, like I said, the Victorian steampunkian London or whatever,
and so I don't know. It just I think, of course, the thing is that the hard part is for people like us is discerning between bad acting and bad writing. So it's like it could be really good acting, but a crappy script and a crappy character, right? So I think that is where I'm on the fence about this because, like I said, you've got a couple. Anthony Hopkins did a great job as the voice
every time.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm on the fence about this one, so I'm going to go with the crowd. So I'll let you guys go, and then I'll give my point.
All right. I'm going to give it a half a point.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to actually kind of agree with that one on the half a point because there are, again, it is, a lot of it is the script writing. Yeah. A lot of the script is absolutely horrible. But some of the people like give their best with what they have
and what they're directed to do,
and it works as far as like how they do it. It's just that hearing it, you know, sucks because it's like, oh, gosh, it doesn't. The writing's just bad.
Zack Snyder, find somebody else to write for you.
Because I mean, the woman Cora, Sophia Boutella, she. I haven't seen her. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything else, but like she looked good and seemed good for that role, but it just kind of seemed like her character wasn't fully fleshed out in the writing. But she did a good job, in my opinion. She did a good job with what she had, but what she had wasn't great. And those guns looked terrible, and we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
These are cosplay guns.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell.
Those are Nerf blasters.
I mean, they even silver. They even have Carrie Elwes in the movie.
The king. He was the king.
Yeah, he's like the emperor or whatever, like that. The king or whatever. But even his dialogue sucked.
So I'll give it a half a point as well because it's like some of them are good actors. It's just they got bad writers.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I also that Jeremy Jans guy was saying the same thing. He's like, it's almost like basically like Zack Snyder decided, wouldn't it be cool if I did everything for this movie instead of having good writers? He said something along the lines of like, you know, instead of getting good writers, let's just work with what we have.
And then I'll go ahead and use that budget to pay myself for all the work I did.
Kind of thing.
You know what he did? He said, I want to be just like George Lucas. Let's make movies just
And we all know George Lucas needed help.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Help.
That's why New Hope wasn't that great. But, you know.
That's why Empire was awesome.
His wife's editing was superb.
Well, it was.
The other two movies were just 10 times.
Well, better. Because he had what was it? Irvin Kershner, I think it was the one that directed the second one.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so everybody's got a place, and you can't do it all. But I'm not sure what happened. But Zack missed the mark on that. So all right, next would be music.
No, cinematography.
Darn it!
Cinematography.
You almost had it.
Yeah, every time.
How long has it been since you've been on the show?
A long time.
I never get those right.
So since we're halfway in the categories, let's do a quick commercial break.
Sure enough.
The same one that lovely Tabitha made a long time ago.
You suffer from
What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising. 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 Where the real money from the movie is made.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I'm going to come out and say this. All right, the cinematography in that ad is way better than the movie.
Really? Thank you. I didn't think the cinematography was that bad in the movie.
The graphics were worse.
The graphics needed some help.
They were worse than the
Some of
first
it,
one.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, they were worse than the first one.
And
By the way, everybody, if you like what we have, go ahead and buy some merchandise. We have neck gaiters. We also have mugs and hoodies and shirts. www.insidetheboothtv.com/shop. Go ahead, buy something.
Do it.
Buy it now.
Do it now. Do it now.
Do it now.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know how to do his voice.
Come on, do it. Do it now.
There you go.
I sent Joshua a reel the other day. Somebody took AI and decided to.
That's a big popular thing right now.
Arnold Schwarzenegger be the entire nunnery cast in The Sound of Music singing "How Do You Solve a Problem with Maria?"
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Seen those before.
It was amazing. How do you take a cloud and pin it down?
How do you solve a problem like Maria?
So cinematography,
Anyway.
I think
Yes.
it had its pros and cons. I think so some of it was just a little too Hunger Games for me. Okay, like in the Hunger Games movie, the thing is that a lot of what is seen in the movie, if you're in the movie or in the books, the story itself is supposed to be computer generated, right?
Mhm.
Like when we get to, what is it, like the third movie, and they make her the Mockingjay and they're doing commercials, it's supposed to be ridiculously flamboyant because they're trying to send a message. Like that was on purpose, I believe. They weren't trying to make it look that realistic. They were trying to make it look like a commercial. Right. So when she's in this movie spinning around with that flag, number one, I got flashbacks, God help me, to the Book of Boba Fett with that loser doing his little spinny winnies just to shoot one laser beam. I'm like, who is doing this? I mean, I understand doing a half turn that looks really dramatic, whatever. But like, when it was so awkward when she was spinning with that flag. Like it took her forever. Who does she think she is? Tara Lipinski? Like it just doesn't. She looked like some kind of ice dancer. Like waiting forever. It was so awkward. It was weird. And that's when it reminded me of like the Hunger Games commercial in the film. Like this is supposed to look more real, I would think, rather than actually trying to look like a computer generated commercial. So some stuff was cool, but it was way over the top. Now, for creativity's sake, when she was, of course, reliving her history about everything, it was kind of cool. But the problem was with so many laser beams, there were so many, and the dimension was off, right? So it literally looked like she was in the middle of all of the laser beams, not on the battlefield, but in the crosshairs of all of the laser beams, but they made them all the same size.
Yeah.
So it looked like they were literally just all right.
Oh no, they did the same thing with General Titus and Turok on the bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was to the point that it was nothing but stormtroopers shooting at them because they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn.
It just doesn't make sense.
And all you saw was laser bolts going every freaking where. You couldn't see anything.
What I'm saying, like, but the problem with that, like, is there was no depth dimension. None of the laser beams were big. None of them were small. None of them looked like they were close to me or you, so you felt like you were in the film or anything.
Well, maybe he was meant to go ahead and make it in 3D.
Maybe that must mean the producers believe in it. But so
he believes in himself.
For things like that, I want to kind of give it no point, but there were some elements where it's like, this is pretty cool and creative, so maybe I'll give it a point because it is a kind of an over the top movie, and part of me likes that because it's different. So I'm going to give a half point.
Gotcha. Yeah,
because this is kind of giving me like Dune, Star Wars, Jupiter Ascending vibes. Jupiter Ascending wasn't a crowd favorite. I really liked it.
I enjoyed it
because it's very different. So,
Yeah, I hear you. You
say that, but
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you, but I don't agree with you.
I do kind of agree with that. Some of it was over the top. Some of it was, just kind of all over the place, especially the battle scenes.
Well, some of it didn't even make any sense either.
Right. I think Zack Snyder, I think his element is kind of like, you know, he likes the epicness of things, like he did with the wheat thrashing and all that stuff. That was like very epic. The
even though I mean he did make harvesting wheat look cool.
Yeah, he did.
Which is a talent.
Even though it's a boring task.
Yeah,
it was a very long slog to get through. He did make it look cool.
Yeah, he did. That's where I think he shines at, stuff like that, you know. You remember seeing what is that movie? 300, you know. That, I mean, that's
way over
like
the top.
Yeah.
It's based off of a comic book too.
Right. Now I think that's what Zack Snyder should stick with. It was like his comic book style.
The other thing is that the source material is already written for
him. Right.
Well, this was based off of books.
His own books.
Rebel Moon is not an original idea.
I think it's supposed to be.
If I'm not mistaken, I read that it was based off of. Hang on, keep talking. I'll do the rest.
Maybe.
This is
right.
This is supposed.
Last I knew, last I knew that Zack Snyder wrote this for George Lucas.
Oh, okay.
So that
he wrote it for Lucasfilm.
Yeah, before Lucas sold it to Disney, and then
it was before then.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought he. I thought you went to Kathleen Kennedy for it too.
He did after.
That's what I thought.
Lucas, yeah.
Okay,
after Lucas sold it, he went to Kathleen Kennedy, and I guess they didn't.
Tried again.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is inspired heavily by Star Wars, heavy metal magazines, Akira,
a lot of stuff,
and also classic Western and samurai sagas. Okay.
Now I will say this though is that for once I think Disney actually dodged a bullet by rejecting this.
But it could have been totally different if it was in the Star Wars realm.
I don't think so.
I don't think it would have been exactly the same because Disney likes things a certain way.
Well, again, that's the reason why they rejected it outright. Because he was gonna try to make an R-rated Star Wars.
No.
That's what his pitch was. That's what this was.
This wasn't even R-rated.
No. Because again, this is the PG-13 cut. His R-rated cut's coming later.
Oh, the Snyderverse.
The extended Snyderverse cut.
Is that like? Do people get like callus and razor burn on their fingertips from threshing the wheat?
I guess there's supposed to be a lot more blood. Or
later on, you'll see them soaking in bathtubs of Epsom salt because they're
okay. You know, it didn't make sense to me. There was a part where you know how what's her name, Kara, the main. Cora. She's standing there giving herself up to the bad guy, right? And then all of a sudden she gets thrown over the bridge into the water, right? And then when she gets out of the water, she's not wearing that white robe anymore. She's wearing a tank top and jeans. What happened to the white robe?
It's poor editing is what it is. It's poor editing.
Jumped in.
I'm hoping you didn't notice, Dan.
Oh, well, I noticed. I noticed, Zack Snyder. That was horrible editing.
I know there's really no excuse for stuff like that anymore because while there are mistakes that totally happen, time runs out because of the advancement of CGI. You can fix those things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now I understand that costs money and time. Nevertheless, you can fix those things. You know,
hey, woke breaker.
It's the woke breaker and a house.
Yeah, that's right.
So cinematography. Who gave a point?
I'm gonna give the cinematography a point just because
a full blown point.
I think I'm gonna give him a full blown. Yeah, he gives it a 0. I give it a full blown point just because of the epicness of thrashing that wheat.
the wheat.
Oh, jeez.
And then that one shot where
they toss the wheat up in the air.
Yeah. No, the water. He dips his thing in the water.
Oh, he dips the spoon in the water.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get really too. I think I saw snippets of the wheat threshing. Was it giving like Prince of Egypt vibes? Like deliver us? Like could you just
no. Almost.
Could you put that soundtrack over top of that moment in
Yeah.
the movie, and would that
Somebody
just
needs
have
to do that.
elevated it to a whole nother level? I gotta search.
Oh
for
yeah,
it.
it would totally change the tone of the movie.
I'm
It
gonna
would.
have to see if there's an edit of
would be-
that. That would be great.
If not, we'll have to do it somehow. That
I would
be
love to
freaking
see
sweet.
that.
I would love it.
No, it really would change the entire tone of the
That
movie.
would be awesome. That would be awesome. And while they're digging the hole, that would be so cool. Oh man, I like it. I like it, Tabitha.
That'd be great.
We need an edit like that. I need to get it somehow on my computer so I can edit that.
It's Tim.
It's Tim.
Damn.
Do you think Rebel Moon could choose a man or a bear?
Okay, this is what I have told my friend Erudai. You need to specify what kind of bear we talking about. Are we talking about Baloo? Are we talking about Paddington? And what kind of man are we talking about? Is it Mr. Rogers? Is it Michael Myers? These are the questions we need to know. I'm not
Specificity goes a long way.
I'm totally fine being in the woods with Mr. Rogers.
Oh yeah, it's safe. I'd feel even safer with Steve Irwin in the woods.
Yeah.
By the way, I have to tell Tim, Empire Strikes Back was way better than this movie.
Of course it was.
Just saying.
Just by a little bit. A little bit.
There's no wheat thrashing in Empire Strikes Back.
There's no slow motion in Empire Strikes Back either.
Oh,
actually, is there any slow motion at all in the original Star Wars?
No.
Or any of the Star Wars?
No.
I don't think so.
No. The only thing that's a staple in Star Wars is actually the transitions from scenes.
Oh, you mean like the Microsoft PowerPoint transitions that George
no, they always go, they're always different. And that was one thing that I learned in digital arts when I was doing cinematography and stuff like that. They said that was one thing that George Lucas was known for in Star Wars was that his transitions, they were never the same.
I know. And in a way, after I noticed them, because I'm like, after I started getting into like graphic design and elements like that, I'm like, dear God, they edited this in Microsoft PowerPoint because
But it's become a staple for Star Wars, though.
And I will say when it comes to the sequels, I do appreciate that they were true.
They adhered to that.
That is definitely, you can say what you will about the sequels, but in that, they were true to George Lucas' Star Wars. It's a corny, ridiculous thing, but we see it out there. And
we do.
But anyway, so
Love it. Say she picks Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Yeah.
I pick Chuck Norris for anything. Really. He's
for cooking, cleaning the house. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why Joshua chose only domesticated tasks, but okay, that's fine.
Well, he would do it in a very manly fashion.
Are you trying to say that it's unmanly to watch
the dishes clean themselves if Chuck Norris?
I was going to say, he just stares at it and it happens.
And they go, oh, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He stares them clean.
So we have music. We're already sad that the Prince of Egypt is not in this movie.
Not in it, yeah.
Nice segue.
Nice, yeah.
Thank you.
So how bad was this movie? Well, The Woke Breaker.
Spoiler.
We're going to tell you in just a little bit. Actually,
we're still working on it.
We're almost
give us
done.
A minute.
We're going to give you our official thing. So the music for it. I mean, are you going to be humming this ditty? Next week.
No, I will say no. It's not memorable, but it was good.
Okay. It was good. Yeah.
Right.
It's not Lord of the Rings good. It's not Star Wars good.
Very few things are.
It's not Hans Zimmer good.
It's not even Danny Elfman good.
No, not even that. No, but it was good. I mean, it fit the movie. I'll say that.
I give it a half a point because it's one of those things where I do like Joshua said, like good music. It fits the moment, but I am always looking for a memorable. And I tell you what, Rebel Moon gives you this vibe, like it's going to be an epic tale.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, especially the intro music.
And even with the trailers and stuff, I was really looking forward to when the first one came out, and then it was like, I haven't finished everything completely yet, and I've been distracted while I watched it, but there's some moments, but I can't remember any of the music, so. I give it half a point because, like Joshua said, the things worked where they needed to.
Right. No, I agree. And again, the intro music, it sets the tone as far as like it sounds like it's going to be like a really, bombastic, awesome sci-fi flick.
Bombastic side eye.
And it does. It sounds really good. And then you start watching it, it's like, snap.
Man, that's a missed opportunity.
It is.
So I think was it Howard Shore? I think that did the score for it.
No,
I think he was.
Are you serious?
I think it was Howard Shore that did it. That's why I'm saying the music was good. That's what I was saying. The music was good. It was just, it didn't help.
Oh, the music is always supposed to help. Who did the music?
I think it was someone else.
Soundtracks produced
Tom
by
Hulkenberg?
Rose Betts. Hang on, we gotta type it in. Rebel Moon 2. Who did the music? Junkie XL.
The Dutch composer.
That's what it says. Dutch
yeah.
composer and multi-instrumentalist Junkie XL.
Maybe that's why it wasn't as good.
Music by Tom Hulkenborg. So Joshua, you are wrong.
Okay. I thought I saw that on there though.
Maybe it's for the first one?
No, yeah. It must have been for the first one then.
Well, the first one says Junkie XL as well. So
what?
I don't know what you talking about.
Hold on.
It all says Tom
I gotta watch the
Hulkenborg.
Credits again.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it again.
the credits again, just to see.
No, it was Tom Hulkenborg again. Okay, I thought that I read that it was maybe I watched something else and it was just blurred over it then.
So would you give this a point?
No, I'd have to give it a half point because the music is good, but it doesn't stick with you, and it just doesn't help the movie.
You won't be humming it in the bathtub later on.
Right, I agree with that. I guess I would also have to give it a half a point then, because I do agree with that. It's not like, I mean, it worked. It was epic, but it wasn't like you said, Hans Zimmer epic. So
no.
Okay.
I agree. Okay. Last but not least, it's the allegory.
Ooh, this is gonna be tough.
Personal favorites. Now, I have in the last year and a half when I would come on and we talk, and it's like all of a sudden I realized we are finding our own allegories in the movies, which is always super fun. One of my favorites was which movie where was it where I was like basically don't invite you don't invite a man into your apartment if you're not married. But it was Van Helsing.
Van Helsing.
It was Van Helsing.
Vampire.
It's right. If he has 3 women with him, he don't need you and he don't want you. You are replaceable. But anyway, that wasn't
Narcissist.
that wasn't actual not anthem, but allegory of the film. I want to know I would like to pose to you a twofold question. What do you think the allegory of the film actually was? And then what is the allegory that you drew from it?
Golly. The allegory of the movie itself. I think the allegory of the movie itself is don't mess with the farmers, or I think they were trying to go ahead and do the whole thing of don't step on the little man kind of thing, because they'll go ahead and fight back against the powers that be kind of thing.
Yeah, don't
kind of like the whole thing of how Star Wars, we have the rebellion versus the Empire. I think it's kind of I think they're wanting to build like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean it's a very common theme in films.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the theme that they were going with for the allegory wise, but. Me, I guess the allegory is farming is cool, even though it's not.
But some people really love farming.
I know that's fine. That's good. That's why people are farmers. That's why the farmers are farmers.
That's why I'm not.
Farming.
Exactly. That's why I'm not. It looks cool, but no, I ain't gonna do it.
Okay, so do you think that for you, Joshua, the allegory that you think the movie's actually trying to present? Do you think they did a good job?
It misses the mark because it doesn't build up enough. I understand where they're going with it, but there's not enough weight behind it to go ahead and actually make it something.
You don't believe in the people enough, you don't connect with them enough.
No, to a certain degree, I actually sided more with the enemy than I did with the actual rebellion.
Now I do kind of like movies like that where you feel a little bit more of a connection to
Because I got sick and tired of hearing those people. I was like, just bomb the snot out of them, be done with it.
Oh, so it's more out of irritation rather than good
Annoyance.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes, yes.
So
I'm annoyed.
Well, and the other thing is too is like so towards the end of the movie, they're like charging up the cannon, and it's like everything's supposed to be like fairly fast or whatever like that. And it's like they're bringing the cannon around. It's like why was the cannon never aimed at the darn settlement from the get go? It's like they're finally bringing it around. It's like okay, we got to aim. We got to aim. Now we got now we got to plug in a battery and charge it up.
That was so dumb. Yeah.
Good ideas sometimes come late.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so Joshua, what would you give the actual allegory of the film that you got out of the film?
The one that I gave?
No. Like, what do you think that the movie gave good allegory?
Yeah. I find anything good out of it?
Not in particular, no. No.
That's great too. If you stand up for what you believe in and strength in numbers.
There was no numbers to go ahead and have any strength.
They spent so much money on CGI that they couldn't hire the actors.
They couldn't hire actors.
Right, they couldn't hire enough.
So you say no, like no points?
I think I'd be able to give it a half point because I understand where they're going, but it just fails to deliver.
Okay. Deliver us.
Exactly. That's the theme.
I love it. They should have used some music with words in it in a couple of scenes.
They did.
Well, I mean, real music, not just orchestrated music. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
Singing.
Dan's waiting for a light, tumble out of bed and tumble to the kitchen. Pour my
he wants some like Beyonce in there or something like that.
While they're threshing, we be working 9 to 5. It's all
There's another good one right there.
They never give you credit.
That would have been awesome. Then this movie would have had like a 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
Right.
Dolly Parton makes everything a 10 out of 10.
I didn't catch an allegory. I do know like the robot was like, well, you got to fight for what you believe in, kind of like what everybody says, strength in numbers and all that jazz. But
but he was only in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's
shorter than last time.
If I were to ever buy merchandise from this movie, it would only be the robot, and then I would put him in with
Jimmy.
my Star
His name's
Wars
Jimmy.
collection. Right, and I would put him in my Star Wars collection. Be like, you belong.
You're
a droid.
You are now a Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Actually, I would just call him an HK unit at that point.
So, Dan, since you caught no allegory, how would you rate it? Would you say that it's
no. Hold on a second. No. You asked the question to me. Did the movie have an allegory, or did you find an allegory of your own in it?
Yeah, I was just asking you.
Oh, only me. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just kidding.
I agree with the allegory that Josh was saying.
You saw it too?
One.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really find. I mean, you could, like you said,
general
generically, it's going that way. But I didn't find one that's like deep and meaningful. Maybe they'll have it in the third movie, but they really didn't have. All I know is that she had to cut her hair 5 minutes before they got attacked.
Yeah.
And haircuts usually take about a couple hours.
Well, did you notice that the farmer dude, even after she cut her hair, the farmer dude shaved?
Yeah. So don't.
Well, you know, when you're about to, okay, I don't know how it is for men, but when women are going to go on and take and conquer the world, they're going to do their best. We're talking, we usually
look your best.
You look your best. Look, you ask any woman, like you're going to go to a job interview and you want to make sure you do it and feel confident. You put on your best underwear. Yes,
yeah, but he should have kept the beard because it made his nose like 5 times bigger.
Some people just don't have a good.
That was the first thing that jumped out at me. It's like, dang, that guy's nose grew.
Some people don't have a good sense of self and fashion and whatnot. Now, cutting her hair wouldn't have been a problem if it wouldn't have been a smooth fade.
I do also have to kind of go.
Mulan.
Sorry, I need to go back a little bit as well on the allegory as well. I forgot that there's also that consequences don't mean a darn thing in the movie.
That's a terrible allegory.
Yeah.
No, I know that. That's what I'm saying. Because the woman, Cora, she happened to go ahead and shoot the princess, but it's like, it's okay. It's okay. She's not really dead.
Empress?
Yeah, they shot the childlike empress, and it's like, oh, she's dead. And then Jimmy comes back. She's like, no, she's not. It's like, oh, snap. All right, it's all cool now.
Right. Well, you know, that was more of a forgiveness section. Like,
really?
The child said, I forgive you. And she said, don't.
Yeah, don't do it.
That was retarded writing.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't.
How is making your own lightsaber in 5 minutes in an elevator? That works, doesn't it?
Now that sounds like MacGyver.
No, she didn't make it. She's wrapping it in cloth.
Well, right, she's making it so she can hold it. She made it in 5 minutes in an elevator.
What you don't see is it's going to be. I read that it's going to be in the Snyder cut. Is that she was actually posting to Instagram when she was in the elevator.
That makes sense.
Problem, you know, when you're about to go to battle. Hey, girls, this is what you do.
Follow me for more tutorials on how to go ahead and slay people.
Right. Be like, I'll be on the battlefield soon. Might go live. Follow me. Give me some likes. I'll be there.
I'll be on Twitch over here.
So, Dan, do you like the allegory? How's it going?
I would say point or no point.
I guess I give it no point for
no point.
So, what do you give it then, Tabo?
Given that I didn't finish the movie, it's hard because it's like,
I mean, well, you have the general synopsis of what the movie is supposed to be about. Can you interpret an allegory from that?
So yeah, I can't rate it on an allegory of what the movie is actually trying to give because I have not seen it.
Well, again, based off of what's been written for you.
Okay. Based off of what's written for me?
Yes, based off of IMDb. Yeah, based off of IMDb.
Okay, hang on. Let me go back. If anybody's been following this channel for a couple of years, you guys know that I am the boss at coming up with allegories. Okay.
She is.
Just to toot my own horn here. I can pull things out of the air and make it sound gorgeous like nobody's business. So let's see what I can do. So the storyline is feeling cute today. I don't know. May cut my hair and save it.
That's accurate. That's very accurate. I like that. That's great.
That was good. That was good.
Feeling cute today. May cut my hair and save the floor. That is Rebel Moon 2 in a nutshell. That's so good. So good. Feeling cute today. I don't know.
That deserves a second.
All right. Cora returns to Velt with the farmer Gunter and the warriors Titus, Nemesis, Darian, Bloodaxe, and Turok. Titus commands the defense of the farmers and asks them to harvest the grains and use them to protect their homes. While waiting for Atticus, Noble, and his men, they disclose their pasts, waiting for a showdown with the Mother World's force. So, the allegory that I'm going to get from this snippet, literally 3 sentences, is that don't waste your time. Use the time.
I like the hang you had right there. It's like, don't waste your time.
Do with the time. Okay, in the words of Gandalf the Grey, we must use the time that we have been given. So obviously these people return to the farm. They harvest the grain in preparation to protect their homes from the bad people. And it's also a good idea to form bonds with the people that you are going to be in close proximity with, because if you're going to go to war with people, you need to know that you got each other's back. And the way that we do this, which we have learned from Mass Effect franchise, is that you got to know their backstory. Don't be afraid to get close and be vulnerable with your friends, because you're going to need them, and you never know what kind of person you may discover. And if you know what kind of person they are, you can amplify their strengths and encourage them in their weaknesses, so that when the real enemy comes, you are prepared, because there is a non-judgmental zone. And that's what real friends are, non-judgmental, but they are there to help you in the hard times and the difficult times when nobody wants to be building wheat houses. But the big bad wolf is coming, and he will blow that house up. You need friends. You need good friends that are willing to go to battle with you, but they can only be your good friends if you sit around a table and talk about how your mom threw herself out the window and you said, don't.
Or not.
Or not.
So for that, I give
Trust.
give it a point. I think
I have to say bravo on that, though.
Bravo,
Just 3 sentences. That is a top-notch allegory.
because it's actually true.
Whitey, can I be your friend?
I thought we were friends. Look, see, now I don't know.
Wow.
Now I know that Whitey and I weren't friends, and that if we ever went to battle, we would have an issue. So Whitey,
You would have to sit at a table and bond.
And so
That's
I
right.
invite you, Whitey, come to my house and we will thresh wheat.
And we got-
Great.
And that, friends, is why you should watch Rebel Moon 2. Because friendship is
To
important.
bond.
The
Friendship.
bond. Yeah.
Mhm. No man is an island
Or woman.
or a woman.
Gotta be inclusive like that.
Or planet.
No person is an island. So I'm going to tally up the points, and Dan, do that thing.
That we do best.
Well,
That's right. All right, everybody. If you like what we do here and you want to see more of Tabitha and Josh, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become a member and a Patreon member. Become a member of YouTube, member of Patreon. We have memberships. You can give us some money. Yes. Your money helps us.
yes. Dan, why you
It's like, give
smash
us-
that like button. That's
give us
right.
the money.
Vanquish the like button. Hit the bell button so you get notified every time we go live or every time we
Ding,
post.
ding.
And yes, ding ding. And also don't forget to share so we get more subscribers, and tell your friends about us and tell them we're good.
Or
Yeah,
don't.
that's about it.
You know,
Or
you could tell
don't.
them that
Yeah,
we're
you
bad.
can keep it to yourself.
Yeah,
No,
you can
don't
tell
keep
them.
it to yourself. If you want to, tell people. Dan, I tell you, look, Dan, I tell you this in confidence. Mute everybody else. Get people to hate you.
Mm.
Get them. Remember
it's
how
true.
your Rebel Moon worked beforehand, and all these people came out of the woodworks telling you how dumb you are, that this was
that was
stupid.
Dune.
Dude,
Yeah, that was
that's what
Dune.
it was.
Yeah.
They were like,
Dune,
have you
that's
ever
what it was,
even
yeah.
picked up a
Yes.
book? Have you watched it? Okay. The secret is don't get the people to like you.
Get the people to hate you. Mhm.
Because they will watch you, so they can hate you
Yep.
some more.
Right.
Ooh, maybe
And therefore,
I'll
you
start-
are gaining momentum.
Momentum.
Maybe I'll start saying I hate
People love drama, so
movies
you
that
need
are
to hate
good.
the things that everybody loves and
Mhm.
love
I
the
will.
thing that everybody hates. So you
All
need
right.
you need
So
to.
I'll love.
So you need to
horrible
get better
movies
score.
and
You need to get some better scores to Rebel Moon to get people to like you.
Yes.
Actually, it's a two-edged sword
1
because
point
he
to
knows.
everything.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, it's too late. It's been written in red, written in blood.
darn.
Oh,
that
better luck
being
next time.
said, out of all the 15 possible points that this movie could have gotten,
Got a whopping.
got a
15.
whopping 6, which isn't too bad.
6
It's mediocre then.
out of 15.
This is a very mediocre movie. Huzzah.
All right.
Huzzah!
I don't feel like they needed our review to find that out, but we're here nonetheless.
That's true.
Right? Trying to help you guys out and figure out whether it is worth watching or not. So now it is up to you.
Well, I
Figure
kind
out
of
if it's
wonder
worth
what
to
the
watch or
chat
not.
thinks
Comments.
about this movie, though.
Yes.
Like, we ask people to comment later, but if you're hanging out with us now, have you seen this movie?
I would say,
And
what are your
most
thoughts?
likely, you guys haven't seen this movie, and the real question is, why not? Like,
Yeah.
what is keeping
What's hindering you?
from watching this movie? Like, I see Corgula Watts is over there laughing. What is keeping you from watching this man obliterate this dude right in front of him with a giant axe? Or that this robot is somehow controlling a tank even though there's somebody inside? Like,
Right.
what is keeping you from wanting to watch this film?
Or the reason why he has a crown.
I ask you this right now, people.
Or
Less than
cut
a
the
price.
heads
Epic,
off.
epic wheat threshing.
Yes, cutting the heads off.
I
of the
mean,
wheat.
based off
Okay.
of what we've said, or maybe you saw the trailer, like if you heard of the title Rebel Moon, what is keeping you from watching this film?
That's right.
Time, money,
Star Wars.
interest, Star Wars,
Sleep.
Less
sleep?
than a price
Just
of a
curious,
Whopper.
just curious, because
Deal. It is a great deal.
we want Dan to hate whatever you say, and we can't get him to hate whatever you say if you don't tell us what he
I was like, you gotta start saying stuff.
Right.
You gotta
That's
say
right.
stuff. Tim did say that one chick got the short end on backstories. Everyone else was a war hero or a prince. She was found by a dumpster by someone that dies later. And you know what?
Oh, it's
Dan
supposed
told
to be-
me he
yeah.
loved that.
Mm-hmm. That was
He
the
thought
best.
she got what she deserved, honestly. Corgula Watch says just not interested.
Not interested.
That's
Come on,
sad.
Mama
You need to get
Watts.
more. You need to get more interested.
I
Yeah,
feel like
just
that's a weak
watch it.
sauce answer.
And as penance, she needs to watch the first one, and then the second one.
I will
all the way
always
through at
recommend that you
once.
watch the first one before.
No,
you
but
watch
all at once is what I'm saying. I'm saying watching
Deliver
both of them
us.
all at once, as far as like in
Deliver us.
order, all in one sitting.
I
Yeah,
wish
I
I had
gotta
that
know.
song for our when we say goodbye and say the curtain closes. I wish I had that song. That would be sweet.
Well, I mean, you could always pull up the thing and then just X out. Wow, I know. I'm sorry. I was being really harsh to you. But that's, we have to. We want you to hate us.
Right?
Yes.
We're going to tell you, you piece of trash. No, I'll message you later. Please don't hate me. I love you.
All right, guys. I think that's it for tonight. I hope you enjoyed what
Woo,
we
woo.
talked about and what our score was. And if you do watch this movie, please leave a comment in the comment section down below for those who are watching this afterwards. One more. Oh, okay. And that's it. So
Right, Tim
thanks.
gave us an opinion.
Oh, he did.
Oh.
Let's look at it before I hit the. I almost hit the button. I almost did it.
Close call.
I know.
Close
Saved the
call.
day. Rebel Moon Part 2 was bad. I liked Part 1. I thought it was all right. It was wacky enough, somewhat interesting, and decent action. This one, phew.
Nice.
Sounds like Tim.
It's a nice sigh of relief.
Sounds like Tim would have given it about the same.
Probably.
Dale, good to see you. You have a
Good to
good
see you,
night
Dale.
too. You're a scholar and a gentleman.
He is.
I don't
All right,
care what they
everybody.
say.
Now I'm gonna hit the button.
Deliver us.
Good
Send the
night.
shepherd to shepherd. us.
Bye.
Deliver us to the promised land. Deliver us.
Goodbye.
Awkward.